Yo, what's going on, everyone? Welcome to our NBA trade deadline show, man. A lot of stuff has been happening already. So hopefully, we get some more trades happening as we go through, man. Should be some exciting stuff because I did not think it was going to be this exciting at all. Hopefully, you guys can hear me. I think this is the first time we're multi-streaming. So we're streaming on the DLloyd NBA channel and we're streaming on my Twitter or my X account at DLloyd TV. So hopefully it's working and everybody can hear me okay, man, because there has been way more action than I thought today in the NBA. So what we're going to be doing today, man, we're going to go over some of the trades that just happened, and then as trades come through, we will see, man. But let's start with some breaking news because it's just happening 53 seconds ago. Let me go ahead and try to put up Twitter so that way we could actually look at both of these because these are interesting in his own right. So let's go ahead, and it's my first time working with this in a while, man. So it could be a little different me trying to get this going, but I think we're here. I think so. No. How do I get what I have up here? Is this not going to work? Maybe this one's not going to work, which will be unfortunate. All right, so we'll just pull this up on the screen for now. But I'm trying to get my Twitter to show because right now it says breaking news: the Detroit Pistons are going to waive Killian Hayes. So I know we made a video about it. Killian Hayes requesting a trade. Nobody was interested in Killian Hayes except for I think Memphis showed a little bit of interest. But Killian Hayes will be waived per the Athletic. I can't get that to show up for whatever reason, but let me try one more time. But that is a thing. I don't know how y'all feel about that one. Oh, here we go. We got it. So there we go. Right here. Breaking Killian. The Pistons are waiving Killian Hayes. That's how we get things started. This deadline has been underwhelming. Utah trade didn't make sense, and I'm a Jazz fan. We will talk about that one. I didn't see it happening to Toronto, but I did see Kelly Olynyk moving. David, what's going on, bro? Welcome, man. Welcome for sure. Hopefully some more breaking stuff could take place. That would be fantastic. But we had this one, and then as soon as I went live, pretty much what we thought right here by Chris Haynes. The Lakers are standing pat. I mean, it became one of those situations where nobody, in my opinion, was going to move the needle forward in terms of all of a sudden making you a championship team by going and getting anybody really besides DeJounte Murray. And even that, I like DeJounte Murray as a player. I mean, he's a dog, bro, but I just don't think he makes the Lakers a championship team. Smart move by LA. Yeah, I don't think it does anything. And then all of a sudden, D'Angelo Russell is playing great. Now, maybe too great because the Lakers are going to run into that issue when it comes to that player option. But I guess they will figure that out when they get to that situation. But right now, he is playing good. I mean, the Lakers have won, 4 of the last 6, something around there. They've been looking really good. So we will see if they could hold up and continue to play really well. But Lakers standing pat. I am not mad. I'm not mad at that one at all. I think it's, like I said, I think it's smart. I think it's definitely smart for them to go that route. And if the Donovan Mitchell talks are true, and you now have 3 picks that you are able to move, maybe you try to go after Donovan Mitchell with whatever's going to happen with D'Lo that can help you get there. So maybe that's the pathway. But as of now, they're standing pat. We'll see if anything crazy does take place, and I am okay with that. So let's just go through pretty much everything that has happened today. And I'll give you guys my reaction. Then hopefully, if you guys hear something new, you guys let me know as well, man. Because I am trying to keep up with everything at once. It seems like it's slower, so we should have time to really talk about everything, but um we'll go through it as it comes. So the first thing we'll go ahead and talk about right here. The Philadelphia 76ers are going to get Buddy Hield. Now, the Sixers were going to make a move, and I don't know if they're 100% done. They were going to make a move, that was for sure. I thought Kelly Olynyk, who we'll talk about in a second, who went up here to Toronto. I thought Kelly Olynyk, when I made my prediction video yesterday, will be it. I said Buddy Hield is an option, but I thought at the end of the day, they would prioritize a big man over a wing. So I thought that would be Kelly Olynyk. But you get in Buddy Hield, you you keep your flexibility, right? Because he's on expiring deal as well. So you still have the money. You get a shooter. Maybe Buddy Hield helps alleviate some of that pain and the issues of not having Joel Embiid. I'm not sure it does. I'd probably rather still have had Kelly Olynyk, to be honest with you. But it's not a bad move. It's not a bad move. They do get better. But the asking price, the main part right here, there's 3 future second round picks. You will hope they are late, and they're not really worth very much. But they definitely gave up something to go get Buddy Hield. I thought the Pacers might get a little bit more than what they got. I mean, Marcus Morris is a expiring deal. I mean, Cork Miles is all right, but I don't think any of these two really improve Indy too much. So you really just moved them for the 3 future second round picks. I'm not mad at it. Just thought they could have got a little bit more at the end of the day, but it is what it is. It is what it is. The next trade that happened, we have the Toronto Raptors, like I said, going to get Kelly Olynyk. That is the big one. Agbaji is cool, but Kelly Olynyk, the main move there, traded away a first round draft pick, Otto Porter Jr. and Kerry Lewis Jr. But I mean, the first round draft pick, Otto Porter Jr. is all right, but the first round pick for Kelly Olynyk, I thought that's probably what he would go for. I thought a first rounder would essentially get him. I think Philly elected not to go with the first round pick. That's why they end up going with Buddy Hield instead. But that first round draft pick, I think it's solid asking price for a player like Kelly Olynyk. Now he is older, but he's on a 1-year deal as well, so you have that flexibility. He's going to be 38 next season, or not 38. He's going to be 33 next season. 38 is crazy. I just aged that man entirely too much. He's going to be 33 next season, but if we pull up his stats here, wrong button. Pull this up as well. His shooting is still, what we expect from Kelly Olynyk. He's actually shooting higher at 43.9. So let's call it 44% from 3 this year. Very, very efficient. He's playing good basketball, man. And when it comes to, those shooters, they could tend to play a little bit longer before they start going downhill. And let's look at, let me see here. Let's look at what this could potentially do to the cap. Because I definitely do want to see what Toronto and Utah could be looking like in the future. So we go to good old cleaning the glass here. So we have Kelly Olynyk, and we have obviously, his numbers, like I said, 43.9% this year. Very, very, very good in my opinion. But you move off from him, so you're only sitting at $99 million in salary next season anyway. You don't have to pay Kelly Olynyk. That doesn't do anything there. So, I mean, you get the first round pick. And I mean, Otto Porter, what is Otto Porter making? Let's see. Man, I don't mind this because Utah is just trying to, they are trying to collect draft picks. I know, Chris, you say you're a Jazz fan. Doesn't make sense. I think you're just trying to get draft picks. I don't think Kelly Olynyk was a long-term plan. But Otto Porter making $6 million. Let's see, long-term. He's an expiring deal, so you have that option on what you want to do with Otto Porter. I mean, I'm not terribly mad at. I didn't know he was shooting 28%. I thought he was around that 33 mark. Uh, so he's not shooting well. But I mean, I don't mind it. I don't think, you bring him back. So it's kind of, let's just get that first round pick. That, as a Jazz fan, that has to be the entire thought is, let's just get the first round pick, and let's just keep stacking the picks. That is literally all that trade was. If you're Utah, is just stacking picks, stacking picks, stacking picks, um, and that is it. Let's look at what picks Utah even have at this point, because I mean, they are pretty loaded. They are pretty loaded. When it comes to the draft, let's see Utah. So they got their pick, Houston, LA looks like. I mean, I don't they have picks, bro. They definitely have picks. 2025, they got their own. Cleveland, Minnesota, 2026. 2026 is crazy. Long. Yeah, Utah stacking. They are stacking draft picks. They are stacking draft picks. That is their game plan. And I'm not mad at that whatsoever. Moving on to the next trade. We have Philly. I didn't even see this one. Philly trading Daniel House to the Pistons and the second rounder. What are they getting back? I guess, I mean, they're clearing cap space. I don't know if they're getting a two back or what. I don't know what they're getting back, but this is a cap space move. It does. I mean, the Pistons get a free second round pick, so why not, right? The Thunder set to add Hayward, so they're getting Gordon Hayward. Now, this one is shocking. I did not think Gordon Hayward would be traded. I thought he would go today without being moved, and then Gordon Hayward would be a player that we are realistically looking at in the buyout market. Him going to OKC, I love it. I love it. I think as long as they keep him, they don't buy him out, which I don't think they will. That is a great pick. Now, what did they give up? I mean, they didn't give up too much. Maybe you could say Trey Man, but I mean, Bertans, I'm not worried about. Draft compensation, I don't know what the draft compensation is. If anybody knows what the draft compensation is, definitely let me know. I don't know what it is. I will see if I could find what the draft compensation is, but yeah, I don't mind this. I think Gordon Hayward going back to a winning situation, just because that culture in Charlotte right now, not great. Not a great, winning culture. Going to a team where he could, just be himself and get open looks. I think that will be solid for him. So I'm not mad at that one. All I'm seeing is the Lakers are not making any moves. Um, yeah, so we're good on that one. The next one, like I said, quite some trades happening already. Daniel Gafford going from the Mavs to the Wizards. Not going from the Mavs to the Wizards, going from the Wizards to the Mavs. The Wizards are getting Rashawn Holmes and draft compensation as well. So you get a big man in Dallas. I know they made another move that we'll talk about later, which helps us make a ton of sense in my opinion. Rashawn Holmes draft compensation. I mean, I like Daniel Gafford. I think he fits in as a solid rotational piece in Dallas. So it's one of those moves. I think this is one of the underrated moves, I think, for Dallas. It's one of those moves there is not, broad, like, man, look what's happening, but is a very solid ad. And moves like this could help you, maybe win a few more games come playoff time, right? So I do like really what Dallas has done. But that move right there is good as well. We'll talk about we'll just skip. We'll go right to the next one. Getting PJ Washington. I love it. Now, Seth Curry, I think, has been traded by Dallas, three times now? He keeps getting moved. Seth Curry keeps getting moved from Dallas. I'm sure he'll sign there again in 2 seasons. Then he'll get traded again. So poor Seth Curry in this situation. You give up Grant Williams, but that 2027 first round pick could mean something. But you get PJ Washington, and I really like PJ Washington. I am biased. I always tell people this. I graduated from Kentucky. I'm a Kentucky alum. I do have some favoritism towards UK players, but taking most of my bias out, I think PJ Washington is a very, very solid piece. Um, and you get him, you look at his contract. Let's look at PJ Washington's contract. I mean, getting 15 million next season, 13.9 million 2 years from now. At that price, that is not an overpay. I think that's a solid contract for what he gives you. Um, so I'm not mad at it. Shooting 32% from three this year, you would like to see that go up to around his career average, around that 37%. But PJ Washington in Dallas, I think makes a ton of sense. And if you are the Hornets, you just add a first round pick. And you're not winning anything anyway. So why not get a first round pick and send PJ Washington, you know, to a winning culture? You get some more cap space. That's kind of a win-win in that situation. Boo, Kentucky. No, man, I can't. No, no Kentucky hate. No Kentucky hate over here, David. That's hey, man. I'm ride or die, bro. That's my school, man. That's my school. He said, what all did my Pistons get in return? Pistons have been everywhere. So that's the next one we're going to talk about. Perfect timing. Perfect timing. So the big trade for the Knicks, which I love. Love that. I'm gonna love a lot of these deals because they're not really crazy big deals, but they are deals that help you win. Getting Alec Burks, cool, but getting Bogdanovich as a New York Knicks fan, you have to be in love. Not only do you get Bogdanovich, you get rid of Evan Fournier. Now, Evan Fournier, I can pretty much speak for any Knicks fan. I'm not even a Knicks fan, just knowing Knicks fans. You have been wanting to get rid of Evan Fournier for years. Evan Fournier has literally just been a thorn in your side, and you moving on from him just off of that, I'm pretty sure Knicks fans are celebrating. Just moving on from Evan Fournier, you got to celebrate off of that. Fournier too. When you look at his contract, what is he paid left? I mean, I know Knicks fans. It's just I think this is his last year of a deal, to be honest with you. But I think Knicks fans just really wanted him out of here, man. In the worst way. So you moving on from him, you are happy. 18.9, $19 million team option. No team is picking that up. So that is an expiring deal for the Pistons. You got to be happy with that. If you're the Pistons, you get that cap space. Cool. Knicks fans rejoice. You don't have to worry about Evan Fournier anymore. Malachi Flynn, solid. I do like Quentin Grimes for Detroit. I think that's probably the best piece that you got right there. 2 future second round draft picks. We'll see. It doesn't specify the year, but we'll see where that falls. You would expect the Knicks to be, in that middle to upper tier, especially with adding Bogdanovich. I could see the Knicks realistically going on a run in the playoffs and potentially even maybe making the Eastern Conference Finals. That's how much I like this move for the Knicks. Probably the best deal that we talked about so far. So the Pistons get cap space. You get expiring deal. Quentin Grimes, see what he could do. Maybe that's a guy you can hold on to as well. The 2 future second rounders. I mean, there you go. For your Pistons, man. So I'm not mad at it. I love it though for the Knicks. It's solid for the Pistons, but for the Knicks, I love it, man. And I'm sorry for your pain this season being a Pistons fan because I know it has been extremely rough, but they've been playing a little bit better. So I guess there's the bright side to that situation. The next trade, Spencer Dinwiddie. He has been the writing has been on the wall. Spencer Dinwiddie, I don't think wanted to play for the Nets anymore. Like his effort has been awful. His play this season has been awful. And I like Spencer Dinwiddie. Nothing good has gone his way. And I don't know if it's on purpose, but yeah, man, Spencer Dinwiddie has not been great. Yeah, it has been rough in Detroit, bro. It's been that might be a understatement, to be honest, man. It has been awful in Detroit. But Spencer Dinwiddie did not want to be in Brooklyn. Just point blank, he did not want to. So getting Dennis Schroeder, which we were hearing that the asking price is really just a second round pick for Dennis Schroeder. Like he was going almost free. So you get rid of Dennis Schroeder. The Nets, if you get him, I think that's a solid piece for the Nets off the bench. Thaddeus Young, cool, but you kick the tires on Spencer Dinwiddie, right? You get to see if his play has just declined or if he has just been playing, not that great because he did not want to be in Brooklyn. I don't know. I don't know. But one of the two happened. If we pull this up right here so you can see um Spencer Dinwiddie over the past few seasons. I don't know if you guys could read this really well, but the decline in play um in Brooklyn has been pretty bad. I mean, now Spencer Dinwiddie's never been, an elite shooter by any means, but he's had some good times. I would say if he gets you around that 35%, you're kind of happy. Um, yeah, the Pistons do have talent. They're young talent. They got to figure it out though. I'm not I'm not terribly mad if you're the Pistons. You just have to be patient. It's almost like the Sixers a few years ago. But getting rid of Killian Hayes helps. But anyway, the drop off for Spencer Dinwiddie, I mean, really across the board. I mean, this year, 48.5% effective field goal percentage in the 17 percentile. That's bad. Um, that's bad. You look at the 3% point percentage and the 9%. 29%. Is not great. I mean, he was 9 last season with Brooklyn. So, I mean, his whole Brooklyn tenure has not been good from that aspect at all. Even when you look at just like, I was looking at the lineups and stuff with him in and out. I mean, it hasn't been good. I mean, I think y'all get the point. I don't know why it's taking so long to load this right here. I think y'all do understand that point. Like, it has not been good. Really, who's in the lineup with him, who's not on the court with him. Spencer Dinwiddie, I just truly feel that he does not want to be there. I think it's literally just that simple. He does not want to be there because I just don't see his play dropping off that much. You know what I mean? And I don't want to get into conspiracies, bro. I just feel like doesn't have it in him right now. So he leaves. He goes gets a fresh start in Toronto, and we'll see what happens. And he's a free agent at the end of the year as well. So I mean, why not if you're the Raptors, right? You make the move, you see how he performs with you. If he plays well and you want to keep him, fine. Like that's what you do, right? You re-sign him, but if not, I mean, you get out of the Dennis Schroeder deal, which I think they know, especially now making the move they did. I mean, I don't want to say it was a mistake, but you don't need him, right? So why not? Why not just see what happens from there? Let's see. Joe Harris being bought out by the Pistons. That's fine. I don't think that's major news right there. We talked about this trade here. Let's see. The Suns trading for Royce O'Neal. So a three-way deal. Okay, here we go. Three-way deal with the Nets, the Grizzlies, and the Suns. Suns get Royce O'Neal. They get David Roddy. The Grizzlies get a future pick swap. The Nets get 3 future second-round picks. And I guess there's gonna be some salary guys in there. So I mean, for the Suns, I mean, the Suns, you get Royce O'Neal off your bench. Even Roddy, you get depth. You get some type of depth because we know the Suns have none of it, like at all. So you get some type of depth there. I'm not upset at that. The Grizzlies get a future pick swap. I would love to see what that potentially is. Yeah, I don't know what that pick swap is. So if anybody knows what it is, I'm trying to see if I can find it here on Twitter. But I do not know what that pick swap is going to be. Let's see. Do we have any clarification on that right now? I don't think so. Yeah, I do not think so. Yeah, it's interesting. Okay, so yeah, I don't know what that pick swap is. Hopefully something good for them. But yeah, so that one's interesting. That one's definitely gonna be an interesting trade. But I think for the Suns, it makes sense. You needed that depth there. Nets usually get draft picks there. So that everything. I know we had some since we updated it. So here we go. We now have more. The Pat Bev deal. There we go. Pat Bev going from the Sixers to Milwaukee. Great move. I know people feel indifferent about Patrick Beverly. As a Lakers fan, man, and we had Pat Bev. I like Pat Bev. When he's on your team, I feel like you appreciate Pat Bev a little bit more than when he's not on your team, right? But going to Milwaukee, I thought they would go after a point guard. You needed just some type of depth. Perry, what's going on, man? Welcome to the stream. I did think that they needed depth at that point guard position. I know Damian Lillard was there, but I thought they would go after a point guard. We heard DeJounte Murray's name get brought up. I think that deal was going to be difficult to get to, but they wanted a guard, they needed depth, and specifically, they wanted a guard that played defense. Losing that in Drew Holiday definitely has showed this year for Milwaukee. So, not at the same caliber of defender as Drew, but Pat Bev, still a good defender. Whether you want to say he's overrated or not on that end, he's still a good defender. So, you get him in there, he could fill that void for you. He could fill that void for you. And at the end of the day, he's a win. He wins where he goes. At the end of the day, like I know he's annoying sometimes what he says, he wins wherever he goes, man. So why not? Why not? And you give up Cameron Payne, wasn't really working. You didn't need more offense when you already had Damian Lillard at that point guard spot. So you get that balance by bringing in Pat Bev. You move a 2027 second round pick, which is going to mean pretty much nothing because if you're Milwaukee, you're trying to win. You're trying to win now. For Philly, why not? You need to score. Pat Bev is not going to do that. You lose Embiid, right? So for them, it's kind of the opposite. You go get Buddy Hield, you go get Cameron Payne. Maybe at times, you have Maxi, but at times, maybe you need a spark off the bench. Maybe Cameron Payne can do it. If not, you don't really lose entirely too much. So this is one of the better deals, in my opinion, today. Nothing big, but it works. Now, interesting about this one is I think Pat Bev could have broke the new. When I seen it on Twitter before coming on, I think it said per the Pat Bev podcast. So I think he could have broke his own trade. If that is true, that is hilarious. That is great. But I don't know if that's true or not. But that is what people said about it. But I do love Pat Bev. He improves that guard spot, and he's gonna have that grip for you, man. So I definitely like that one. Um, a ton, a ton. So what else did we have? We talked about Killian Hayes being released. We will see what the market looks like for Killian Hayes. Now, I don't want to just keep trashing him. Obviously, we made a couple jokes on our video about Killian Hayes. This is where I stand about him, man. He is a solid defender. I think he is a little overhyped as a defender. He's a solid defender. Um, he makes a lot of good plays, but the problem is he could create space. He could get to the basket. He's a good finisher at the basket. All the analytics will also point to that. He's a good finisher there. He makes plays. He'll get a shot, and you will think this is a solid shot. This is a good shot. The problem is he doesn't make any of the shots, and it's just like at some point, how long can you keep saying, "Okay, we're going to wait to see if he starts knocking them down"? And I feel like people see that everywhere because he gets chances. Because you look at him, you go, I could see how Killian Hayes could be a productive player in the NBA, at least a good role player, right? But when you watch how everything unfolds in the execution of everything, it does not match what you see. Like if you could make a highlight tape before the shot, Killian Hayes will have a solid one. And then you show what happens when he shoots the ball and he's just not making anything, man. From the field, from two, anything outside of the paint. I mean, he's liable to just miss it. So that's what I feel about Killian Hayes. Will he get another chance? Will he get a shot? I think there will be some interest because, again, other teams, like we do with our eyes, other teams could see, like, okay, there is something there. We are just far away from it getting to where that potential could potentially be. And in the NBA, you don't have forever to reach that, right? So Killian Hayes, I think, will get one more shot at least on another team. If not, because he's already looking at like Kevin Knox territory, right? He's going to be shipped around. But if he can't get it figured out, he's either going to be an NBA journeyman or I think his career in the NBA could be somewhat short. It could be somewhat short if they can't figure that one out. So I think we are caught up. Are we not caught up on everything? We are caught up on everything. Let's see if we have anything from Woj or anything like that. That has happened in the meantime. Because right now we are about 45 minutes, 43 minutes to be exact, away from the trade deadline coming and going. We know the Lakers, if you did not hear, they are going to be standing pat. At least that is the rumor right now, is that they will not be making any major moves. So we will see what happens. I'm waiting on a couple of names. I'm waiting on to see. Andre Drummond, does he move? I think he is the likely one of that Chicago, rumors to go. I think DeMar DeRozan, especially now, you moved Marcus Morris with Philly. You don't really, it's going to be tough to make that contract match up. So I think DeMar DeRozan is staying put in Chicago unless another team comes out of nowhere. But I'm not sure they do. So I think DeMar DeRozan stays. I am waiting on um Andre Drummond. I do think Drummond could be moved. He could be flipped somewhere. We will definitely see if that happens. What else? I'm trying to see if anything else happening. We talked about Joe Harris being bought out. The way the buyout market is this season with the new CBA, and the first apron, second apron type deal, most of your contending teams are not. You can't sign them. So if you're in that second apron, you can't go get a player that has been bought out of his contract. So I think the Celtics unable to, the Suns unable to, the Warriors unable to, the Clippers unable to. So that it's going to be tough for him to find a spot for a team that needs Joe Harris, right? A team that could use a shooter that's already contending. That I think he'll be a great fit in Golden State. I think he'll be a great fit. Really, any of those teams I said, maybe besides Boston, I think he'll be a great fit in any of those places. But they cannot go after him. So the buyout market is interesting now with the new CBA, and we will see what happens. But Joe Harris is expected to be bought out. Pistons waived Daniel House Jr. I'm not sure where the market is for him as well. So that's just another guy that's kind of there, but it is what it is. Anything else? Let's see. We got something from David Aldridge. Just read this. Clarity on the return to Washington for Daniel Gafford. The Wizards will receive the hire of either OKC's or the Clippers' first round picks via Dallas. Okay, so they're going to get the better pick. That is not bad. If I'm reading that correctly, that is not bad. The Thunder and Clippers currently among 4 teams fighting for a top spot in the West. So yeah, it'll be mid to late 20s. But I mean, you get the better of the pick. I mean, anytime you can move up a few spots when it has nothing to do with you, I mean, why not? Why not? I don't think that's bad at all. What else do we have? Hawks are looking for Herb Jones and any potential trade that'll move DeJounte Murray. All right, let's talk about DeJounte Murray because he was probably the hottest name for the last month. when it came to potential trades at the trade deadline. But I don't. I said it in yesterday's video. I don't see him moving. I think at this point he stays, and there's a few reasons why. The first one is just the compensation, right? Because he is that top guy in the trade market. From Atlanta's perspective, they feel that they are going to be well compensated for that. And you also have to remember what they gave up to go get DeJounte Murray. They gave up a crazy amount of draft picks, right, to the Spurs to go get him. So they're going to try to want to recoup some of those picks. So teams are already out the gate going to probably be required to give up multiple picks. When it came to the Lakers, they could only give you one pick. So you can only do one pick and you can only do D'Angelo Russell. That's why they wanted a third team to get involved, because you go get D'Lo, you're pretty much still where you are now with two guards. You don't really have a true, a wing guy. You have two combo guards, right? You probably want a taller guy, a guy with some more length. So you don't get that. You only get one pick. So you want to go get another team that will then move a pick for D'Angelo Russell. At the time, that really wasn't happening too much. I don't think a ton of teams were going to make that move for D'Angelo Russell. So it was a tough spot to be in. And I think ultimately the Lakers didn't make that move and the Hawks did not make that move. And now when you're looking at the Pelicans, yes, you may want players instead of just all the picks, but I don't see the Pelicans moving off from Jones. I don't see them moving off a ton of draft picks. I do know they have the idea of potentially, bringing in Murray next to CJ McCollum, but I don't think it's going to be enough for them to get the deal done. So I think they're going to ask for too much, and the Hawks are in that tough spot. I just do not see. I mean, we have 40 minutes. Maybe something can change between now and then. I just don't see. I don't see the pathway for a DeJounte Murray trade right now. I don't see it. But we've seen crazier things happen before. We have seen a lot crazier things happen before. But we'll see. We'll see. Let's see. I am trying to find a few more moves, or is the deadline starting to die down? Let's see what we have from David McMenamin. With 1 hour to go until the trade deadline, I'm hearing there's been nothing close to a deal for the Lakers so far this morning. Just like I said, I think they're going to say pack. But we do have that update from David McMenamin. But really nothing. Really nothing. So it was an interesting day because I didn't think there was going to be really any major moves. We did see quite a few trades, but they all happened early in the day. And since then, really nothing has happened at all. Yeah. I see just more moves, more talk of the Lakers staying put. How do y'all feel about the Lakers not doing anything? I don't see nothing that moves the needle. I see some people kind of on Twitter upset because they're not moving anything, and I get it. They have not played well. But at this point, you pretty much are in so deep when it comes to this roster. You may just have to see it through. Um, see it through and hope maybe they catch fire. They could play like they did in the play-in. Because during the play-in, remember, they were playing well. I mean, even the way they beat the Suns, right? Like these were convincing wins. It weren't like they just got through. Teams didn't care. They were convincing wins against playoff teams. I don't know what happened after that. If they could maybe get that back, that would be great. Um, but I think at this point you gotta just wait and see. You literally just have to wait and see and hope um, that things could be turned around. I mean, I at least as a Lakers fan hope the Lakers could figure out and things could turn around. I am not expecting it to. Unfortunately, I don't think this is a repeat of last year where they make a trade and bam, they just go crazy and shoot up through the rankings or the standings. I don't see that, but They said, yeah, it is true. Pat Bev did break that he was being traded. So that is awesome. That is awesome. Breaking your own news that you're being traded is definitely awesome. I don't care about the Lakers not trading. I just hope they can win. That's the problem, right? Do you need to make a trade that win more games? Do you, it's tough. Um, it's tough, man. It's tough. I am okay with it though. I am okay with them not moving anything. Let's see what Jake Fisher. Let's see what he says. Good old Jake Fisher. What update do we have? Sixers are still in conversations with Chicago on Andre Drummond. So there we go. I'm saying Andre Drummond. I'm expecting a move there. While the Bulls remain engaged elsewhere, being told Philadelphia is not pursuing DeMar DeRozan, which we just talked about, right? Moving Marcus Morris. That was kind of your piece to match that DeMar DeRozan contract. So moving on from him pretty much eliminates you. Even if you wanted DeMar DeRozan, that pretty much gets you out of that sweepstakes of going and getting him. But Andre Drummond, I believe, at like 3.7 million this year. I mean, that is a very easily digestible contract, right? So I think that would make sense. I was hoping the Knicks will come in. I thought that would have been a home run, but the 76ers are not a bad second option. Getting Drummond back, I think, when you look at that team and you look at them not having a big, this will be the perfect situation. I wanted them to go get Kelly Olynyk. They did not. The Sixers went and got Buddy Hield, a great shooter, a guy that could hopefully get high for you and help you, sustain when it comes to the offensive end. You then go get a guy like Andre Drummond that can provide the defense for you. You can hold it down in the interior. You know he's a rebounding machine. So I think that's a great fit. Go get him. Move a pick. Because that's all Chicago is really wanting is a pick, and Drummond is gone. Now, is it multiple second rounders, which we already seen moved? Is it that first rounder? I heard that they could be requiring a first round pick. Now, of course, you're not going to want to do that if you're Philly, but do you do that if you're Philly? I don't think it's too far fetched. I don't think it's too far fetched because that pick is going to be late. Why not? Why not give yourself a chance of the best, or give yourself the best chance you have at potentially winning? I think Drummond is the move. But we'll see. We have not had an update since then. So we will see. Let's refresh this. Did we get anything else since there? Just the videos of Pat Bev um talking about his own exit. Let's see if we could pull this up as well. Um can we share the screen here? Let's see. Let's see if we can hear.
What's up, brother? Hey, Doc, go let me do my thing over there. I know. Hey, so who else on the team? That you fuck with? No. It's Dame, Giannis. AB. No, I gotta get my relationship right with Dame. Gotta get my relationship right with Dame. Man, time with a championship bag.
So I mean, I don't
get
my relationship right with Dan. That's dope. If he announced it on this is awesome. This is what you want to see in the NBA. At least players kind of understanding. I don't like when players learn about being traded through social media. So at least it seems like he knew what was going to happen. That's dope. That's definitely cool, man. I think a lot of people could appreciate that. But let's see. What else are we looking at, man? 30 minutes away from the deadline. Are we done for the day? Are we done? Or do we have a few last minute moves that could come in? I have TweetDeck up. It is refreshing as we speak, man, but nothing. Um, nothing at all right now. So we'll see. We'll see if anything else comes across or if it's going to be a quiet finish. Let's see. This is like the night before Christmas. Hey, I think I mean probably, but Christmas you get you get a reward in the morning, right? You get those gifts. Are we going to see a last minute? We have seen, right at the deadline, 3 p.m. Eastern. We have seen 258 trades come through. We have seen, a couple minutes even after the fact, some trades kind of come in and us being shocked. But right now, it's kind of going the way we expected. We expected a calmer deadline just because how prices and values of players have been. And with, so many teams now when it comes to the play-in that's still contending, I think what this does for the league, and I still think it's a positive as a whole. What this does for the league is you have more contenders. When you have more contenders, you have more buyers on the market, more buyers than sellers. So when you look at teams that are trying to get rid of guys, you have a few players, right? A few teams that are willing to let go some guys. But once you get those guys out the way, pretty much it. It's not a long list of teams willing to just get rid of guys. So I think you do see, times where this could happen where teams are trying to compete. And you look at the deals that have happened so far today, nothing monumental, but small pieces to try to get better because teams are so close that one or two players could sway how, things go in the final stretch of the season. So we will see what happens, but I like what Milwaukee has done so far. Pat Bev, I still think one of the better moves. Um, what's going to happen with Doc Rivers? Is he going to figure things out? Because they have played bad. They have what are they 1-4 since Doc Rivers has became the head coach there, and they have given up a lead in all four of the losses. So Doc is doing Doc things, but he gets guy he coached before and Pat Bev back. I do think that defensive end is going to be very important. So I'm still going to say that is probably one of the bigger moves of the day so far. If I could say another big one, let's go through and look again. I really like PJ Washington going to the Mavs. I think that's a solid one. They paid a good price for it, but I think that is a good move. Just get that versatile big for you, man. Makes a ton of sense. The Knicks probably have the best. Yeah, they might have I like the Kelly Olynyk one as well, but I think the Knicks might have the best trade of the day, even over Milwaukee. I like Milwaukee. I like the Pat Bev. Clearly, y'all know I like that move. But getting Bogdanovich and Alec Burks to help out the depth of the Knicks and moving on from Evan Fournier in the process is such a big win if you are a Knicks fan. Such a big win. So I think this might be the best move. You only move all from 2 future second round picks. I mean, Quentin Grimes, you move off from him. That one I can understand some people not not liking that one, but as a whole, like in its entirety, I mean, this is great. This is a great. I don't know how many times I can say great trade for the Knicks, man. Because Bohan, man, he's good. He's just playing in Detroit. That's the problem. He's just playing in Detroit. They're not a good team. They don't get the spotlight. But now going to the Knicks, long as he doesn't have one of those situations where like Lakers fans clearly know you go get a quote unquote shooter, he comes on your team, all of a sudden he can't shoot no more. As long as that doesn't happen, which I don't expect that to happen, I mean it's a win. It's definitely a win. Let's see. Now the Nets are going to save around $7 million through the 2 trades. All right. Let's see. Now they can structure the move to have these trade exceptions left. So you can have 20 million trade exception from Dinwiddie, 19 million from Joe Harris, 6.8 for Mills, 5.7 for KD. But the KD exception expires tomorrow, so don't count that trade exception as being a real thing. And then 1.5 million from O'Neal. So I mean, I see what Brooklyn is doing. I think for Brooklyn, if they could hit in the off season, if they could get one of these players off a team that needs to sell, right, with the new, say they are a second apron team or first apron team, or they're near the tax and they want to get rid of somebody, you have picks, you have the exceptions to kind of make things work. I think that is their strategy. I could be wrong, but just looking at it, it seems like that is the clear strategy right now, at least for Brooklyn. And we'll see. We'll see how that works out for them. I do think a couple other teams will have similar ideas and strategies, but this offseason is going to be very entertaining and very interesting. With that new second apron fully coming into effect, because this year is only partial. This year, the second apron is basically your first apron team, right? Like there's really nothing different about it except for the wave players not being able to get bought out players. But other than that, I mean, not having the exceptions, not be able to get the bought out players, having your draft picks frozen for 7 years, all of that I think will put some fear into some of these teams, and I do think some of them will move off of a few players. And if you are situated well enough where you can add some of these guys, especially a team like Boston, right? We looked at Boston, and we can pull up Boston again. Boston's in a rough spot, right? Because the second apron's at 190 million, first apron is 179. They had 200 million in salary that they have to pay next year in Boston. Actually, let's pull this up so you guys can see this with me. And you look at Boston and what they need to do next season, it's going to be rough. So hopefully you guys can read this. It is big enough. It's as big as I can make it. So Boston at $200 million next year, right? So Drew Holiday, $39.4 million player option. You would assume he's opting in to that. Say for whatever reason he does decline it, that does take you down to 160 million, and now you're under the tax. So that would be a great move. But realistically speaking, who's turning down $39 million option unless you get an extension? I know, not I. So $39 million takes you back to 20 or $200 million. You look at Porzingis, 29.3 million. Is another team going to touch that? I doubt it. So I think he is going to stay in Boston next year. I like the way Porzingis has been playing this year. I really like his fit in Boston, by the way. So not a shot at him, but $29 million. I don't think a team is doing anything with that. You then look at Jason Tatum, 34.8 million. Then he has an option here after that, but this is going to be extension territory, right? In the summer, try to get him locked up. But it is what it is. Jaylen Brown, this was the head scratcher because Boston, they were aware of the new CBA. They were aware of the first and second apron rules, and they still decided to give Jaylen Brown that crazy contract. That puts him in a tough spot at that 52 million. Then you see it go up 56, 60, 60, pretty much 65, and then 69 million in 28-29 season. That is tough. It's going to be tough to come by. Then we come down to Derek White, and this is one of those guys, like I said, do you try to make room for? Because Derek White is going to be able to go, and you probably be able to get him with maybe an asset attached at 19.6 million. You get rid of him. Let's say you trade him next season. You don't get nothing back, but just cash and some picks. So you complete that trade. Bam. 180. You're now a first apron team. So you still have some restrictions, but you're not as locked up as you would have been if you stayed a second apron team. You don't have your draft picks locked up. And now at that point, you have some wiggle room, right? Al Horford. Say you do want to waive him. I mean, it's going to be tough. So you're going to trade Al Horford. Peyton Pritchard not going nowhere. I mean, now you're looking at minimum guys with exceptions. So I would 100%, I'm like 90% sure Derek White will have to be moved. Al Horford probably going to be moved unless they're okay with being that first apron team, which I don't see no reason they would not be okay with that. The second apron team is going to be the problem when you start, freezing the draft picks. If you're a second apron team, 3 out of 5 years, you then lose. Not lose. All your first round picks go to the end of the draft. So, team like Boston, right, is going to be tough. Who else is in there? When you look at the Clippers, they're not in the awful situation either. They're at 171 next season. Um, the main thing is how much are you going to sign James Harden for, right? He's not going to make 50 million, but let's say you get James Harden. Let's say, what do you think, around 30? Let's say they get a discount. Get them at 30 million. Obviously gonna be a longer term deal, but just for this purposes, we're gonna get them at 30 million. You're now at 201 million. So now you have some finagling to do, right? Is Norman Powell, is he expendable at 19? Possibly you trade him and say you just get some picks back. Now you're back as a first apron team. So that's definitely possible there. PJ Tucker, he wants out anyway. That could be a guy that, I mean, could he go before the deadline? I mean, who knows? If I pop into Twitter and see if anything has happened, I mean, I know he wants to go. He is not. Nothing is showing up right now. For PJ Tucker leaving, so that is going to be interesting. I think he could be a guy that probably needs to go, but I just don't see a lot of suitors. Maybe just seeing how things plan out. Bruce Brown also a Raptor still. That is interesting. He has not been traded. So yeah, so you look at PJ Tucker, you would assume something will happen from there. He has an $11.5 million player option. Maybe you call his bluff. How bad does he want to leave? He says he really doesn't want to be there, but 11.5 million, are you turning that down? I don't know, but if they call that bluff, say he does and he declines it, you're down to 190. You just got to get rid of somebody else. Say Terrence Mann gets shipped off, bam, you are now underneath that, right? Let's say you don't trade him there. Say you decide to move. Mason Plumlee, I don't think he's coming back. Player option for Russell Westbrook. I don't know if he's played himself into more money, but I have liked what I've seen out of Russell Westbrook. So this is another team to kind of watch. You can maybe get some players off them. Maybe you get a Norman Powell from them. Maybe you get a Terrence Mann from them. I'm hearing that maybe, they could be open to a deal. Bones Highland at 4.2 million. I think that's a reasonable option as well. What do you have to give up to go get a Bones Highland? I don't know. But the Clippers are a team that's in that first apron, second apron. What are they going to do type deal? I talked about the Golden State Warriors in my Klay Thompson video. I think they're in a good spot. Now they're at 172 next year. I say maybe you sign Klay to 25 million a year, right? That puts you at 197. But the easy fix there, you get rid of Chris Paul. He has a non-guaranteed deal, so you just waive Chris Paul. Bam, 167. You're even under the tax, so that helps a lot. Andrew Wiggins, say you trade him, and say you do get back, you get back something. But that's not going to kill you at all. So the Warriors are a team I think they're easily able to construct this team next season. So they're one of the teams that are, in that apron, their second apron team this season. I have no issues with them getting out of that next year and kind of figuring things out, because I think they will. Back to Twitter. Let's see if we got any more updates. We're now 15 minutes away from the trade deadline. Are we going to get any last minute heroics here? Anybody coming in at the end, or is going to end with the dud? I don't know, man. While we wait, though, the people that are in here, if y'all could do me a favor, hit that like button on the video, man. It's going to help me out a ton. Just engagement, hitting the like button, comment, all that stuff helps me, man. I appreciate every single one of those, man. It's been great, man. Trying to get this channel just going back again after taking the time off. I appreciate the growth, man. I appreciate y'all for rocking on me. And hopefully, man, we get some cool stuff to talk about here in a second. But for right now, it seems pretty quiet. But 15 minutes, still have time. We still have time. So let's see. Bruce Brown. Let's look at the Raptors. So the Raptors made a couple of moves today. I know they're not going to be updated right away on here. But let's go to Toronto. And let's see. Toronto, I mean, they're doing really well when it comes to their contracts anyway. So RJ Barrett at 25 million the next few seasons. Bruce Brown, team option at 23 million. Today can't end like this. I need something to happen. We'll see. Right now, man, we're just looking at contracts because there's nothing else to go over right now. But look, like I said, looking at Toronto, I mean, you got rid of Porter, you got rid of Lewis. I mean, you got Olenek, who's also on an expiring deal. So I mean, you're in that same situation, right? Like you should get rid of these guys there. You got rid of Thaddeus Young. I mean, really, you want to take the $10 million player team option for Scotty Barnes. So that is 100% going to be, you're going to opt into that, but that's going to do nothing because they're assuming that that's going to happen here anyway, right? So you do that next season. Gary Trent, obviously, you let walk, but I thought maybe Gary Trent could be a trade piece. That has not happened as of yet. So really, the team option for Bruce Brown. I mean, you exercise it. You're still fine. When it comes to the cap. So I don't know. Like, what do you do if you're Toronto? I mean, I don't think there's much, right? You have a ton of room for the luxury. So you're not paying that. That's what's most important when it comes to these teams, right? It's the luxury. Like how far could we go there? But I think you're in a good spot. I mean, if you got rid of Dennis Schroeder, you just traded him today, right? So you get off of that for a 1 year thing. So I mean, yeah, Toronto's going to be a player in the offseason via trade or free agency. I think they will be a player that can make some moves. So I think Toronto's set up. They're set up pretty well. They're set up pretty well. I thought we got something here, man. We do got breaking news, but this was a letdown breaking news by Woes 54 seconds ago. Breaking: the Atlanta Hawks are keeping guard DeJounte Murray. So no trade for DeJounte Murray, no last second Hail Mary shot for DeJounte Murray. They're gonna just hold on to the ball, let the clock run out, and we will roll from there. But DeJounte Murray staying in Atlanta. I mean, like I said, I feel like we've seen this coming. Just the asking price for him. They were asking for too much. They gave up too much to probably get him, which helps that. So they're in a good spot as well. Trae Young at 43 million. Can they? I think next season they'll probably be able to come off Clint Capella when it becomes an expiring deal, and then you just roll with McConkwu there. I think that is probably a realistic option for Atlanta. I don't think there's gonna be a lot of buyers for DeAndre Hunter. Bogdanovich is always going to be there, but I think Atlanta sees him still as a valuable part, so I don't see them moving on Bogdanovich. So I think we keep a lot of what is kind of currently here in Atlanta. They're just waiting on the right pieces. Other than that, there we go. Here we go. 1 minute ago, we do have a trade. All right. Let's take a look at this here. And we'll pull it up. All right. Finally, so we got some type of action in the last 15 minutes. Something is better than nothing. So here we go. Full trade details. Pacers are getting Doug McDermott. Nice, a nice shooter right there. The Spurs are going to get Marcus Morris, who obviously just got, and a second round pick and cash considerations. So there you go. Doug McDermott, going back to the Pacers. How do y'all feel about that? I don't feel like this does nothing really for the Spurs. I mean, they do come off of this. So let's pull this one back up with San Antonio. Let's see what that was San Antonio. Let's pull it up for Indy. For the Spurs, they just get rid of that cat. So I mean that's fine. That's fine right there. Doug McDermott was scheduled to make 20 million as a whole next season. So I don't see that being exercised. So he's probably going to become an unrestricted free agent there. And then for the Pacers, I mean, you get a shooter. You get a shooter. I mean, what did you give up? Nothing. Nothing. I think this makes your buddy Hill trade a little bit better. I mean, shooting 43% from three this season. I mean, I'm not mad at that one at all. For the Spurs, if you're not keeping him, I mean, you get a second round pick, right? Like, is that the trade off? You just get the second rounder, cash consideration. That's probably it, really, for the Spurs, because Marcus Morris isn't moving, the needle at all for San Antonio. He's not in the time frame. The Spurs are trying to stay young, and trying to groom players that way. So Marcus Morris does nothing. I wouldn't be shocked if Marcus Morris does get bought out. Let's see. Maybe that's what happens there. Does he become a buyout candidate? If you look at Philly, because that's where he was, not that long ago. 17.1 million this year. Yeah, I mean, he's an unrestricted free agent at the end of the season. Do you buy him out and allow him to walk and maybe sign with a contending team, or do you just hold on to him? I mean, Spurs have options, but I mean, the way they're going, you're just rolling with the young guys. You're not really doing too much, so I don't see anything crazy happening there. But I like to move for the Pacers. Get a shooter. Welcome back to the Pacers for Doug McDermott. That's solid. That is definitely a solid piece for them right there. Do we have any other movement with 7 minutes left? 7 minutes left until the deadline. Any other breaking news? Let's see. We do. We do. Robin Lopez has been traded to the Sacramento Kings. But what is coming with that? I don't know. He's going to Sacramento Kings. He will immediately be waived. He will become a free agent. So Robin Lopez, going to be waived, and the Bucks are sending cash. So that's it. Sending cash for them to go ahead and waive. Go ahead and waive Lopez. I think Robin Lopez will probably find another spot, at least get a chance in that market. So that's nothing crazy, but that did just happen. So we did get 2 last minute moves there, but nothing crazy. Jeremy Sohan will be replacing Shaden Sharp in the Rising Stars competition. If anybody cared there. I am late on my first break. What I miss? Yeah, thank you for doing this. Yeah, for sure, bro. Lakers are staying pat. I guess we could do a quick rundown of essentially what ended up happening. Yeah, let me make sure no other trade happened. Yeah, no other trade has happened so far. Lakers are staying pat. They're not going to make any major moves. One of my favorite moves is Patrick Beverley has been shipped from the Sixers to the Milwaukee Bucks in exchange for Cameron Payne and a second-round pick. One of my favorite moves. I really like that one a ton. We just talked about Doug McDermott going to the Pacers. PJ Washington is moving from the Hornets to the Dallas Mavericks for Seth Curry, Grant Williams, and the 2027 first-round pick. I like that move a lot. For the Mavs, for the Hornets, you get picks, you get assets. Poor Seth Curry, who has been traded, I believe, 3 times now by the Dallas Mavericks. So just based off the track record, I expect Seth Curry to sign with Dallas in about 2 seasons, and then he'll get traded again. That's typically how that works. Spencer Dinwiddie has been saved from the Nets by the Toronto Raptors. So he's going to the Raptors. The Nets are getting Dennis Schroeder, Thaddeus Young. Probably the best trade overall of the day. The Knicks getting Alex Burks, Bojan Bogdanovic. The Pistons getting Fournier, Flynn, Quentin Grimes, 2 future second-round picks. I mean, it is what it is. Mavs also get Daniel Gafford for Rashawn Holmes and the 2024 first-round pick that is coming from either the Mavs or no, not the Mavs because it is the Mavs. Either the Thunder or I believe it said the Clippers. They're getting the better one. I forget the second one, but they're getting pretty much a late 2024 first-round pick. Gordon Hayward was shipped out from the Hornets to the OKC Thunder. Probably an underrated move. That's a good pick right there. Draft compensation is all that has been reported, so I don't know exactly what's going to be there. Trey Mans, Bertans, I don't know exactly what the moves are for that one. Daniel House going to the Pistons. The Sixers are getting a second-round pick. And then the first trade of the day, Kelly Olynyk going from the Utah Jazz to the Toronto Raptors for Otto Porter Jr., Kira Lewis Jr., and a 2024 first-round pick. So that is pretty much what has happened to this point. So we're 3 minutes left to the deadline. That is nothing else has happened. Nothing else has happened, but we know there has been buzzer beaters before. The Bulls have made Alex Caruso untouchable. That was reported 2 minutes ago. I mean, it's only 3 minutes left. So, I mean, just by default, we kind of figured that. I'm waiting for Andre Drummond. Can Andre Drummond be a last-second push to the Sixers? Let's see. I don't think he's going to the Knicks anymore after their trade, but can the Sixers get a deal done with Andre Drummond or get a deal done with Chicago for Andre Drummond in the next few minutes? Jaden Springer has been traded to the Boston Celtics. No news. That was just 4 seconds ago. So we'll see if we get any info on that one. I doubt there's anything meaningful in that move. Let's see. So basically, the Raps, Mavs, Philly, and OKC Hornets. Yeah, that's pretty much all that happened. I like the Mavs moves. I like Philly. Oh, and the Bucks. The Bucks getting Patrick Beverly. I think that is a great deal for them. And the Knicks as well. Add them in there. So, but yeah, pretty much what you said. And the Raptors. I feel like I'm just adding teams as we go. And the Raptors. But those are the main pieces. Yep, those are the main pieces that have moved. I love the deal for the Bucks, though. I love the deal for the Bucks. Oh, here we go. We got some information about the Spencer Dinwiddie move being saved by Toronto. Let's see. To avoid a $1.5 million upcoming contract bonus for games played, the Toronto Raptors are planning to waive Spencer Dinwiddie. Wow. So Dinwiddie now going to the buyout market. Lakers. Lakers. What's up? What is up? That might, I like the deal for the Raptors because it saved them, right? Because we don't know if Spencer Dinwiddie just doesn't want to be a net or if his game has just fallen off. We don't know because he has not played well since he left Dallas, right? So we don't know. But him being in the buyout market, yeah, we're on the same page about him coming to the Lakers. That one is interesting. That one is interesting because you also have to remember with the apron teams, you can't go, to the Suns. You can't go to the Boston. You can't go to Golden State. You can't go to the Clippers. But you can come to the Lakers. You can come to the Lakers. Hey, let's see. That's interesting. That is one to watch. And as the deadline approaches, let's do one last refresh. Did we get anything? And then, of course, a few minutes to see anything trickle in. No PJ Walker trade. So PJ Walker staying put in LA, does not want to be there. But maybe, like I said, they take the chance with the player option in the summer. Does he opt in? Does he not? He doesn't want to be there. He's scheduled to make $11.5 million. Let's see what happens. yes, it is great. If you're talking about the Lakers and Spencer Dinwiddie, that would be great because, like you said, you're not trading nothing for him. You're just adding him to what you have. And the Lakers have a spot. Bruce Brown staying in Toronto. Did not get a deal done for Bruce Brown. I thought he could potentially be moved, but that did not happen. No Andre Drummond. Andre Drummond staying put in Chicago as of now. I thought Philly or the Knicks will take a shot. Once we seen the Knicks trade earlier, we pretty much eliminated that. But Philly not going to get another big. Is that going to hurt them come playoff time? I think so. Even though you got, Buddy Hield, I think you needed that big. And they did not go get that. We will see what happens there. Nothing happened with DeJounte Murray. He is staying put in Atlanta. Like I said earlier, just too much stuff happening there. They gave up too much, asking for too much. I guess that makes sense. Chris Haynes just reporting the Bulls are indeed keeping Andre Drummond. So no last minute trade happening with Andre Drummond. He will be there. Here we go. Dave McMenamin 3 seconds ago. The trade deadline has came and went. The Lakers stood pat. No deal. We've seen that. I think we started this stream saying the Lakers are going to stay pat, but that is official now. The Raptors had to make a choice for Bruce Brown and his option. Nothing has happened with the Warriors. I said that in my prediction video. I just did not see Klay Thompson being traded at the deadline. I think if he does, that will be an off-season sign and trade type deal. And Andrew Wiggins, I just don't think there's a market right now for Andrew Wiggins. So if you're the Warriors, kind of the situation, just keep what you have and hope things can turn around. Kind of like the Lakers, just hope something can figure itself out at the end of the day. But the Lakers do have hope with Spencer Dinwiddie. I would love that just to see, because I don't know. Maybe he sucks now because he has not played well since becoming a Net. But I had the suspicion that he just does not want to be there. And that is, impacting how he plays. We'll see. We do have a Clippers trade. Okay, so we did have a last minute trade. The Clippers are getting Ismail Kamagat. The draft rights is 2022 second round pick. The Nuggets are getting cash. So there we go. That was underwhelming. You think he still got it? I think so too. I think he just doesn't want to be there. I don't know. I could be wrong. I could see him play in a few weeks and be like, man, then what he doesn't got it because he's not shooting well. He's not doing nothing great. Like when you watch him play, he looks bad. Like there's no other way to say it. He looks bad. But maybe I'm holding on hopes of what I've seen, the last 4 or 5 seasons out of Dinwiddie. But we'll see. Him being in the buyout market will be interesting. And because they didn't want to pay him a bonus. Wow, we just talked about the Warriors. The Warriors did make a move. Interesting. 17 seconds ago, the Warriors are trading Corey Joseph to the Pacers. No info yet. Corey Joseph going to the Pacers, depending on what they give up. Great for the Pacers. Pacers are stacking up. Low key, the Pacers are doing pretty good here. They're definitely doing pretty good here. There are reports. The Lakers are reportedly interested in free agent Spencer Dinwiddie. I mean, that was our first thought. I think we were all on the same page with that one. We seen that happen, and we immediately connected the dots. Lakers and Dinwiddie. Remember, with a buyout market and the second apron, and for not being able to participate in the buyout market, it does limit teams. So when you look at teams that could compete and are able to get a player from the buyout market, Lakers, they fit that bill. And I think the Lakers know that as well. Any team that's a second apron team, they cannot sign any player that is bought out making over the mid-level exception, the full mid-level at $12.5 million. Dinwiddie obviously meets that criteria, so he would not be able to sign with a few teams in the NBA. Let's see what happened. The Sixers traded Jaden Springer. Look for them I'm assuming this. There's no report of this. This is my assumption. I will look for them to look at a Kyle Lowry in the buyout market. That's clear. That's clearly a salary cap move, and there's a reason why you're doing that salary cap move. So I would look at a player like that, and they have roster space. So maybe Spencer Dinwiddie also goes to the 76ers. That's a team that could compete with the Lakers, right? When it comes to getting him in the buyout market. Like I said, I have not seen nothing yet, but that's just what my assumptions will say. Oh, and I'm just looking at it. So let's see. Yeah, the Celtics made a salary dump right before the budget. I mean, the Warriors did with Corey Joseph. I did not see anything with the Celtics. I don't know what they did. Um, Let's see, what else do we have? Anything else? The Mavericks say they have agreed to swap their own 2028 first round pick with OKC's 2028 first round pick in order to obtain the 2024 first round pick from the Thunder. So that's part of the Daniel Gafford trade. That's why we did not get information about that. Okay, so they were still working some stuff out. Dave McMenamin, what did he just says? What did he just say? He tweets out 2 seconds ago. Lakers were active in seeking deals in the days leading up to the deadline and determined any feasible trade would be marginal upgrades. So pretty much what we said, too steep at the cost. It's how much you give up for what you get back, right? Yes, you could get better, but if you give up more, is the net gain really there? But they're going to be aggressive in the buyout market. Remember, so when the Lakers went into the offseason, they did not spend their full mid-level exception. We thought that they will save it for free agency, but they went into the season not spending that full mid-level exception. So Rob Pelinka, at times, he makes some questionable decisions, but you do have to applaud the forward thinking of situations because now, when it comes to the buyout market, yes, you do compete with other teams like Philly, right? But you could offer a little bit more because you still have that mid-level exception that you could offer out for buyout players. So that is something to think about. And then, of course, in the offseason, you have 3 first-round picks. You have players that you can still move. Being aggressive is there. Now, whether or not it's Donovan Mitchell type aggressive, we will see. But the Lakers, they are gambling. They are gambling on the buyout market, potentially trying to improve the team. Let's see. The Golden State Warriors will reduce the tax penalty by $14.5 million just by offloading Corey Joseph $2 million cap hit. So that is a way to save some money right there. They're in the repeater tax. So I don't know the 100%, one-to-one bill there, but that's why that's so high off of just $2 million. Any other moves? So okay, here we go. Corey Joseph going for a 2nd-round pick in cash. That will probably help them also when it comes to that tax bill that they have. So, anything else? Nah, man, I don't know anything else crazy. I'm excited about Spencer Dinwiddie. I think that could work. I think that could work. I'm just looking. I do not see anything else happening right now. I love it. If the Lakers get Spencer Dinwiddie, that is the upgrade we need. All right, let's do one last refresh here, man. So it was a relatively quiet trade deadline as a whole, I will say. But we still did get some interesting moves that happened. Um, yeah, I don't see nothing else. Of course, if there's any last minute stuff, I'll probably either make a video. I think I'm going to let things digest, see who gets bought out, who stays, and then we will definitely in the coming day probably have some videos about who won If you watch this whole thing, I think you have an idea of who I already like. But I'll give out my grades, and we'll talk about who we think won the trade deadline and how we see these teams stacking up moving forward. But it's always great to see, all the speculation, the months of speculation. We get to the day and we see who was bluffing, who wasn't bluffing, who goes, who doesn't go. Couple of shots, like I said, Bruce Brown staying is a shot to me. Andre Drummond staying is a shot to me. But like Pat Bev being traded was a shot to me as well, right? So we definitely got a little bit of everything today, man. But I think we're going to end this here. We're going to end this here. Been going almost an hour and a half. I appreciate y'all for rocking with me, man. Definitely means a lot. If y'all can hit that like button on the way out, that would be great as well, man. I appreciate you doing the video. Looking forward to seeing more. I appreciate you, Patrick. I definitely do, man. Like I said, it means a lot to me. Y'all rock with me, man. Now, buyout market, the next target we look at, playoff push, the next target we look at, man. So we still have a lot of stuff, interesting storylines going on in the NBA, man. But I appreciate y'all for rocking with me. Last thing before I say this, because it's an interesting tweet right here. The Chicago Bulls have not made a trade for a player since August of 2021. That is that is interesting. Almost 3 years without making a trade there. There you go. The Lakers got offered 1.5 million prorated because the money, not giving the full mid-level to Gabe Vincent. Other teams only do the $1 million prorated, so you get an extra $500,000. Have you ever been to Southern California? Now that may counter itself when you pay those California taxes, but you can still make a little bit more. That's going to be the Lakers pitch. We'll see what happens. But like I said, I appreciate y'all, man, for rocking with me. Hit that like button on the way out. Subscribe, man, if you are now already subscribed and you watched all this, man. But yeah, it's DLloyd. I'm going to see y'all next time. Peace.